Hi, I'm Connor Rose. I'm 23 years old.
Do you trust the police? Why or why not?
I trust them that they're trying to do their best, but I mean, everyone makes mistakes and they're in a situation where their job is very high pressure.
When was the last time you had an interaction with an officer?
About 2 years ago, I was turning down an alleyway and a police officer was coming from a turn and he sped up really fast and he almost hit me. And he ended up pulling me over and just giving me a warning about the situation. But I think that was mostly because he thought he was in the wrong.
What was the worst interaction you've had with the police?
The worst interaction had to be when I was in college in New York. I got caught with marijuana paraphernalia in my car because I was parking in a restricted area and I thought I could get away with it, but the officer saw it and I ended up getting my whole car searched, and it made me feel like very uncomfortable and kind of overly scrutinized for what the situation was. But they definitely didn't feel like they were just protecting and serving. It felt like they just wanted to intimidate me mostly.
Do you think police make an improvement in your neighborhood or community?
Compared to living in New York, upstate New York, and living here in Louisville, I definitely think the Louisville cops have a bigger job to do, and they're actually trying to make an improvement and get the real people that are doing crimes, that actually hurt people. In New York, it seemed like police were kind of at a higher ratio than there is to criminals, and they try to fill out those quotas that everyone says they have, but they don't have.
What improvements do you wish you could see police make in your neighborhood or community?
I don't see too many cops patrol my neighborhood particularly, but I would like to see them be more vigilant and more proactive in neighborhoods, maybe trying to get out and see people and know the neighbors and people that actually live in this community so they can tell when something is actually wrong and not just trying to guess.
What do you think is appropriate or important for citizens to know when interacting with the police?
Definitely keep cool, be honest, and hopefully that cop's having a good day and he doesn't want to fill out any quotas.
I'm Adriano Aguayo. I'm a criminal justice major, 21 years old.
When was the last time you had an interaction with an officer?
About, I want to say almost a year ago. I was pulled over because of a license plate bulb that was out, and I feel like that was a little ridiculous. Plus, they boxed me in, and it was a little nerve-wracking, and plus with all the other shootings that are happening, it made me really nervous. But when they approached me really calm. They told me why they stopped me and stuff like that. So, I mean, I just felt like it was a little inconvenient, but I'm glad that they handled it in a respectful way.
What improvements do you wish you could see police make in your neighborhood or community?
Basically, like, get out of the car and, show up to the big events that are happening, even the little ones, and just show the community that, you're there for them and you're there to talk to them about anything, not just about crime, and just to show that, you're not a robot or anything like that. Become personable and more human.
Do you think crimes in general are best dealt with by the police or by community residents?
I would say a mix of both. I feel like when something happens, the police are there to handle it and they leave. After that, the community's job is to step in and try to prevent that or figure out what's really going on and what changes they can make. So I think a little mix of both is actually the best approach. If you just leave it all on the police, then the police are just going to be there to respond to community's problems, and the community is never going to take charge of what they need to address when it comes to certain issues.
My name is Andres Aguayo. I'm a junior here at University of Louisville studying accounting, and I'm 21.
What improvements do you wish you could see the police in your neighborhood or community make?
Definitely more community policing. I would like it better if they would just actually get out of their cars and try to interact with the community, get to know the kids, get to know all the people that they police. Because without that relationship, I mean, the image of a police officer to the, let's say, the black community isn't going to change unless they try to show that they're trying to actively participate in being involved in the community.
What do you think is appropriate or important for citizens to know when interacting with the police?
So that just try to follow their instructions the best you can, because sometimes one misunderstanding can cost a life. So just make sure that you follow what they say and keep your hands visible at all times.
Do you think arming police officers makes your community safer? Why or why not?
I mean, I do feel like they need a gun to do their job. I mean, they run into people with guns too, so they gotta be able to defend themselves. But I think there needs to be training and extensive training on when to use a firearm, when not to use a firearm. Because with that firearm, it just takes one decision to really impact the whole community and the whole image of police. So,
How do you think we can bridge the gap between the police and the community?
definitely seeing police officers as human beings, and the only way they can make us get that perception is like stepping out of their cars, being at our events, talking to us just when, not just when they have a phone call about something going on like 911. It needs to be an actual dialogue, like how's your day, seeing them more visible. So just being out in the community, because I mean that's going to change everything.
How do people in your community view police officers? Is it positive or negative?
I would say mostly negative, just because of like everything that's been going on. They don't seem to care, and that goes again with if they would get out of their cars and actually talk when we don't need them, but just to be there. So mostly negative, just because of all the police brutality and everything going on with the government. So.
Hi, my name is Lindsay. I live in Oldham County and I'm 37 years old.
What was the best interaction you've had with the police?
It was probably when a friend of mine's daughter went missing and they were doing a search and rescue for her, and they were organizing everything and they ended up finding her.
Do you think police make an improvement in your neighborhood or community?
I definitely do. The neighborhood I live in right now has 3 cops in it, so it's kind of nice to know that they're there and patrolling and that it's a safer neighborhood.
How much confidence do you have in the capability of the police to protect you from crime?
I have a lot of confidence in that. I feel like, at least where I live, I feel like it's pretty safe, and that the cops around here do a good job.
What improvements do you wish you could see police in your community or neighborhood make?
I would like to see them interact more with the kids and be friendlier with people. Just, kind of let people know that they're just normal people and not have such a stigma. I think that's kind of the problem, is that there's such a stigma attached to police that, whether they give it to themselves or not, that they think that they're better.
Do you think arming police officers makes the community safer? Why or why
Yes.
not?
Yes, absolutely. Police officers need to be armed at all times, and they need to feel that they're allowed to have deadly force or have the right to use deadly force should they need to. I understand that with that right comes responsibility, and that there could be accidents that happen, but the chances of that are a lot slimmer than if they didn't have it. And I don't think that that there's really a way for cops to say, oh, in this situation I can use a taser or non-deadly force. In this situation I have to use my gun. Like, I don't think that there's time for that. I feel like they, again, their training is, to protect themselves and protect everyone else in the community.
If you were to witness a crime, would you hesitate to call the police? Why or why not?
No, I would call them, and I wouldn't hesitate. That's what they're there for. I don't have anything I don't have any reason to be afraid of them. I don't have any reason to, absolutely, that's the first thing I would do.
What do you think is appropriate or important for citizens to know when interacting with police?
I think that it's important to know that while you may be a good person, that they are trained to work with people that are not good. So, you have to understand that they are trained to be aware of any possible situation that could arise. So something that you might do while it might be innocent to you might seem suspicious to them. So I remember one time when I was a little girl, my dad got pulled over for speeding, and he like jumped out of the car to go talk to the cop, and the cop like freaked out because my dad jumped out of the car, which he didn't mean anything by it, but the cop, you know, he could have, for all the cop knew, he could have been coming after him with a gun or something, you know. So while my dad understood, once the cop explained it to him, you know, he was just trying to chat. He wasn't, you know, obviously meaning anything by it.
Thomas Franklin. I work for Louisville Metro Police Department. I work down in the 1st Division on Lake Watch.
How long have you been a police officer?
6 years.
As a police officer, how do you think the community views you as a person?
As a person, they view me as just a normal person. I just have a job to do, and the job is to help them achieve whatever solution to a problem or situation they have whenever they call us.
Do you think it's important to have a relationship with the community?
It's absolutely important. Whenever I went through college, they told us that the police officer is given authority through the community that they are policing. And if the community does not have faith in the police officers, then where does the authority come from? And I believe hand in hand we have to help each other achieve what the community wants: less crime, less situations where people are getting hurt, less situations where people are having property crimes committed against them. And without the community, there is no successful outcomes to those situations.
How many times a day do you personally interact with someone face to face?
On a 12-hour shift, as much as busy as the night is, whether it's a simple traffic stop or responding to a call for service, it kind of just depends. If somebody's reporting somebody missing, then you're talking to that one individual, hopefully finding the missing person. If it's a large scene, a large accident, you can be talking to, at any one point in time, 5 to 10 people. So any single day you could be talking to at least up to hundreds of people a night.
How do you feel about less than lethal weapons?
Excellent. They give us other options. We carry electronic stunning devices, electrical tasers. We also carry less lethal beanbag shotguns. We also have pepper spray and collapsible or expandable batons, and each one of those is a tool with a certain situation that you're presented. You can use that to help resolve situations with the least amount of force possible.
What advice would you give to future police officers who want to have a positive impact on their communities?
Remain positive yourself. There's only certain things in this world that you can control, and yourself is one of them. You need to have a positive outlook, and you need to have control of yourself if you really want to do this job and do it properly and do it correctly. Don't allow other people to control you and your emotions.